Well, hello there. Thank you for joining us here at Roof Sealant on this windy day. My name is Tony, and I'm here to take you through what I'm going to do as far as replacing some of the caulk that goes around items on your roof. My particular one I'm going to do today, and I'm going to put in this video, is going to be the one for the shower. It's going to be your larger one. It should be a little spongy. That's the way it's supposed to be, just like this on top. And I'm going to show you some other little tips and what I do to replace mine here in just a minute. So come along with us. You just entered the coolest life on my roof, windy edition. So this is really going to save you a whole lot of money. Maybe not so much time, but definitely a whole lot of money. This little bit here is going to cost me, what, 10 bucks to do this. This that you see here, this stripping, this caulk, is self-leveling. You can see on this particular one I got here, you got the old one here, and this other one looks like someone before me who had this motorhome before I did has put another one down here. And it's okay to put one on top of another like this. A lot of this, as long as you clean this before you put the next one down, you're good. I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up, and it's going to take me some time. But why would I want to do this? Because if you look a little closer, you can see that there's some cracking going on, and I want to get ahead of that cracking. I want to take care of it and get it off of here before it cracks even more. Because anytime, anytime you have a little bit of a crack, pretty soon you're going to get water penetration, and that is what you do not want. Let's take some time and just do this a little early before we get some water penetration on here. This one over here, I've done. I did this one here about 8 months ago. I guess I got another video I'll place right up there. That shows you what I did when I actually replaced this here, plus all my other vent hoods. I just got new ones. They're really easy. They have 3 or 4 screws, and then you just put the sealant right over there. It's not caulk, it's sealant. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff here up, and as you can see, I've actually already started. And you can do this with your hand here a little bit. I've already started just a little bit on some of this. So once it starts coming up, it's pretty good. This, of course, has got bolts. I'm not going to take these bolts out. All I'm going to do is clean this as good as I can. I'm not going to clean this with a solvent. You start putting solvents on these, and what it'll do is it'll create a film, and that's the last thing you want on here is a film. I'm just going to basically pull this up, maybe take some soap and water to it, let it dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to put my new sealant right down on top. As I'm doing more and more of this, you can see, I want to show you how clean this is coming up. I'm only doing this with my hand. I do have some plastic scrapers. I've got these. I've got like this one. These are normally, you'll find these at an auto parts store. They say they remove trim, so it's for removing trim pieces on your car is what they're for, because they don't scratch anything. What you don't want to do is use those blades that are hard metal, because you see this isn't going to scrape in to my roofing, because it's a piece of plastic. But you get that piece of hard metal in there, the hard metal scrapers, and the last thing I want to do is get little nicks in there. So I'm just going to take my time with this. It's probably going to take me about a half hour, maybe 15 minutes or so, to actually get the rest of this off all the way up this way and around and down. I may sit up here for this part. I may come get my ladder and put it over here to get this other side here, give me a better angle at it, and then I'm going to basically clean this area and show you what I'm going to put down. So let me mention one other thing. The reason this is coming up so easily, and you wouldn't think it would, but it is coming up pretty easily, is it's warm out here. It's probably in the 80s, and yeah, I'm on the roof in the 80s. It's a little breezy today, that doesn't matter, but I've got some direct sunlight on us. This is not an overcast day. I want that because I want it to heat this up. When you heat this up, it becomes a little more pliable. No matter how old it is, it's going to be easier to get up if you let it be on a warm day that you're going to do this. And boy, this is, gosh, almost like it was painted or something. This actually took up the coloring in that and everything, but you can see these screws here. Now, I'm not going to have to get this completely clean because the sealant I'm using, and most self-leveling sealants, you don't have to get this squeaky clean, you know. But we're going to get as much of it off as I can. So watch this. It's a lot easier with two hands, but watch this even with one hand. You see how it's coming up? It's coming up pretty good. You know, no issues there. It's coming up real nice. That's the original color, and this is what the sun can do to these things. It definitely changes the colors. I don't know how old this one is. My guess is it's probably 5 or 6 years old. So can you see why I'm doing this? It's not that hard. Again, the bulk of this is going to come up fairly easy. I'm pulling on it nice and easy. I want to get it even across, you know. That way it comes up better and I got a little more force to it. So that's what I want to do. Well, it came out pretty good. Now let me give you a real quick tip here that I just, discovered myself. Is when you peel this stuff up, don't come this way because you'll hit that corner. Boy, I almost broke my skin there. That kind of hurt like fire. But I am going to go back through all of this. I can find my scraper. I'm going to come back up in here and I'm just going to scrape some of this off. Follow me? I'm just going to scrape as much of this off as I can. Again, you do not have to get this thing spotless. When you've got a good sealant like I'm about to use, you do not have to get this thing spotless. You just need to get it good and clean and solid. Again, you don't want any solvents on here. Don't put acetate on this or anything like that, because all it's going to do is, a lot of times, you know, it is a gasoline and or alcohol base. It can still leave a film, and you don't want any film. And that's like a freaking awesome surface right there. Now, should I have bought another one of these for $75 and replaced it? Yeah, I probably could have. I will say this is spongy, so this is in good condition. I'm not worried about this. I am going to clean it and get these spots off of it. You know, it's just dirty. I am going to clean it, but that's pretty much all I need to do with this because it's still in good condition, so I'm not too worried. Yes, it's discolored. It's not white. It's not a pretty white like this is, but it's discolored. But I'm just going to clean it really quick and wipe the rest of this off. And I'm going to show you this stuff I'm about to put on here because it is awesome. All right, I got it cleaned. I took this brush here and I brushed around the edges good, and then I come back over with this brush here. Just kind of, I want all those little rollies and everything else off of there, so I want a nice and clean surface is what I got here. So I'm real happy with that. Also cleaned the top of this a little bit, and it looks a whole lot better. So I'm going to put some of that caulk down right in here. But first, let me show you something else. Here's where I'm working on. This caulk here, the one closest to us, that sealant, that's actually Dicor there. Actually, the one closest to us might not be Dicor. Check that. But the one on the other side is, because I know I applied it. Self-leveling sealant. This one here, I applied it maybe a year ago, I guess. I really wanted to get a good seal across that back cap. Typically, where you're going to get leaks at is your front cap, and I also got some of that down there. But I could show you that while I got you here. Let's go look. That good looking roof, huh? Yeah, I know. It is a good looking roof. So I got some of the Dicor here. There's some Dicor around this here. And I got a little bit of a patch job in here, as you can see. But you know what? That really looks good. There's no cracking or anything. That's the main thing. There's zero cracking. There's no holes or anything like that on that piece there. Yeah, I got to do some work over there, I know. But anyway, all that looks good there. I'm going to end up doing... I'm not going to scrape that one there off because I did it about 8 months ago, a year ago, but I'm definitely going to have to do this one here. I'm seeing some cracking here that I want to take care of. I will say this, I've seen a whole lot of cracked sealant around a whole lot of items in my day. I've been inspecting about 3 years. This particular kind here is some self-leveling sealant I got from Home Depot, or one of them, I guess. It was one of those box stores, and you can see it's working, and it's discoloring a little bit there. It is sealing. It's not cracking at all. It's still soft and rubbery to the touch, so I'm okay with that. And I'm not gonna rip that off. I'm kind of testing it a little bit to see if it's any better than this stuff I got, but I'm gonna just keep an eye on that. Right now it's probably been there 6 months, so I'm actually okay with that. Now what am I going to use? I'm going to use the best stuff on earth. No, it's not Dicor. It's this stuff. The 715 brand semi-self-layering membrane sealer. This is different than your Dicor. This is a company called Sika, and this is Sikaflex 715. This is the best stuff. I've seen a whole lot of reviews. I've never used it, and I'm going to use it on this here, but I've never used it, and they keep saying, hey dude, you could just put this right over top of your other stuff if you want to. That's what they keep telling me. So, but this is more of a, I think it's a polyurethane is what it is. It's not just, it's not the same stuff, and you can see I paid $19.50 for it. So we're running about $20 a tube. Get a couple of these. I'm actually going to, when I do this, and I said this is going to cost me $10 because this cost me $19, but I'm not going to use all this on this. I'm probably going to use maybe half of it, but we'll see what as it starts coming out. And so let's give it a try. And for you newbies, this is actually a caulk gun, so I'm going to put this right inside of there. I always trim an angle. You see, I got the angle here. I always trim an angle, and so I'm going to get it so it loads like that, and I'm going to knock a hole in that thing at the end. And the way you do that is these caulk guns come with a pin at the end. You see that thing right there that I'm doing? See that? That is a pin, so I can stick down inside this hole and knock a hole into my can at the bottom. Just like that. You should only need one, but look at it. It's even got some on it, so it is ready to go. All right, I got that loaded up in there. In fact, I'm going to squeeze it just a little bit. You see it coming through the end? All right, so we're ready to go. I know people will say, well, you should be wearing gloves doing that. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I don't typically wear gloves, not even when I'm doing my sewer. Why? I know what to touch and what not to touch. I had an electrician tell me that one time. I said, hey, you don't shut that power off before you mess with that breaker or mess with that outlet. He said, nope, I know what ones to touch and what ones not to touch. So that's the same here, and same when I'm dealing with my sewer. I normally don't use gloves when I'm doing my disconnect and connect because I've already got it flushed out and everything else the way my system works. But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna get some of this on there now. Well, I squeezed it out a little bit. It kind of looked like that, and it looked kind of crappy. So I started doing a line, and I thought, you know what? I really need it on that seal is where I need it. I need it on the seal, which is where I got it. So I need it actually covering this. That's my main thing. And then you always want to put a dollop on top of your screws. So that's kind of what I want it to look like. It really doesn't need to look like that. It just doesn't. It's overkill, I think. So I'm going to add some more and fill up these holes because I don't want water sitting inside of these holes or anything. But let's keep on keeping on. Yeah, let me show you what I mean. So basically right here is where I need it. I probably just need to keep squeezing a little more than I was squeezing on the other side. And if I think I'm getting a little thin, I'm going to come back over it and check it again. But that's basically where I need it. As long as it's getting in there, it's keeping that off of there. That's what I'm worried about. And I'm going to make sure there's no... I'll put some in here where I think I want some extra. Where I think it's a little thin. You really don't need a ton of it. I may with my Dicor, I may use it and put a little more on it, but it comes out a little different. This is coming out good, and it's standing good too. It's staying like it's supposed to stay. I see any discolorations in there. This is going to level. This is not going to stay like little peaks and stuff. This is going to flatten out and get smooth on it, because that's what you want when you're talking about your roof. You want it to level. In fact, I'm not even squeezing it now. I'm just kind of, well, I did there. But so that's basically what I'm going to do all year round. Oh yes, very nice, very nice. You can see where I started. Had a whole bunch of it. You know, I just about am making using the whole tube of this on this, so maybe it is going to cost you $20 to do this. But I should go into cake decorating. That's beautiful. Anyway, I'm probably going to come back over. Like I see a spot here, it's a little thin right there. I'm probably going to come back and add some to that, but the rest of it looks pretty good. I'm liking it. Well, I think that's got it. A couple of things. Weather-wise, don't do this in the rain. Don't do this in extreme cold. Do this when it's a little warm outside. Find yourself a nice day. This is not an emergency seal I had to do. This was just general maintenance is what this is. I think maybe when we get to South Dakota next summer, I'm going to maybe just replace this and do another video as far as actually pulling this piece off. And there's actually not much more to it except for getting the screws out, replacing the screws, getting new screws in there, and putting this down in there. So I did take some of the excess caulk that I had on there because it was almost empty. You really don't want, when you open a can of sealant, you want to use it all. You won't just want to use half of it and keep the rest of it. Unless you think you're going to do the rest of it maybe tomorrow or the next day or next week, but you don't want to keep it for an extended period of time. So if you just got a little bit, go ahead and like I'm giving this one here some help. So I gave it some love right here around the front of it. I didn't see any issues with it, but I just didn't like the way it was beveled, and you could really see the beveling edge. But I'm gonna come back up here on this one here and check it in about a week and see how it's doing. May report back, probably not, but I'll see how it's doing. If it's something major, I'll definitely do another video. Maybe I did something wrong, but I think it looks pretty good, and I'm happy with that. So be sure to like and subscribe and join us on other adventures of doing videos like this. And maybe the next one I'll do it with my shirt off. Do another naked edition. But because my last naked edition did pretty good as far as viewership. But come on, join us on top of the roof next time we get up here, and maybe who knows, maybe if you look around on the roof, you just might see me out here living the coolest life.